We are Module 6, Lesson 14. We actually have word problems today with basically adding fractions and the adding fractions as decimals. Is that the best way to put it? Basically, we're going to take decimals, convert them to fractions, and then do what we need to do. So the objective is solve word problems involving the addition of measurements in decimal form. Now, yesterday I taught you the little cheater. It's not really a cheater way, but a way of adding decimals. So I'm going to show you both ways, but we are going to learn, we need to practice adding, well, basically converting the decimals to fractions and adding the fractions and then converting it back to a decimal. I know it seems like the long way to go around, but it's good to learn. Like, you'll need to be able to do both ways. So, we want it to make sense. There are only 4 problems today. The first 2 are pretty easy. The third one is a little bit hard, and the last one's pretty hard, but we can do it. All right, so barrel A contains 2.7 liters of water. Barrel B contains 3.09 liters of water. Together, how much do the 2 barrels contain? That means we're adding. So what we should do really is draw a tape diagram for both. You probably circled the underlined box like you were supposed to. This is 2.7 liters. And this one is 3.09 liters. So let's write this in fraction form, okay? So 2.7 would be 2 7/10, right? Plus 3 9/100. Okay? We need to make that 7/10 into 7/100. 2, and so we multiply by 10, and 70/100 plus 3 9/100. So let's take, whoa, that's a big 0, sorry. Add our whole numbers, that's 5 and 79/100. And we know that that is 579.79 liters. So that one was a pretty easy one. Now I know it does actually take longer to convert it to fractions. I know that, I get that, I understand that, but I still want you to learn how to convert decimals to fractions and fractions to decimals. It is imperative that you learn that for math that you will do 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, depending upon, what exactly you're doing. So let me show you decimal wise, okay? We had 2.7 and we were adding 3.09. So you would have your place value chart. If I put 2.7 here, you're going to want to put the 3 here so the 9 lines up, but that's not how we do it. We line up our decimals. So that would be 3.79. Now, if you remember from yesterday's lesson, I didn't like leaving that. Even though we had the place value chart, I put a 0 here. Now, 2.7, that means 2 7/10. If I put a 0 here, that means 2 70/100. Well, isn't 7/10 the same as 70/100? Yes, it is. I think we've proved that 8 million times at this point. So we can put a 0 there, and then we simply add 9, 14, regroup the 1. That decimal is always lined up in the proper place. Did I add the other one wrong? 2.77 is 14. Oh, this is a 0. I was like, that is not the same answer. Okay, 7. There we go. And then 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, because we didn't regroup anything when I fixed it. Okay. See how you could get that wrong? All right. So there's the first one. And of course you wrote, together the two barrels contained 5.79 liters of water. I want you to read the next one, and I want you to circle, underline, box. I have to get Penny. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. We also have Izzy, so we'll see how this goes. I just don't know. All right. Alyssa ran a distance of 15.8 kilometers in 1 week and 17.34 kilometers the following week, or kilometers, doesn't matter. How far did she run in 2 weeks? Quite simply, we add it, right? All right, so let's do our tape diagram. What is it, 15.8? Sorry about my M. And 17.34. Oops, KM. All right, 15.8 is 15 and 8/10 plus 17 and 34 hundredths. Or 8/10 needs to be changed to 80 hundredths plus 17 and 34 hundredths. Okay, 15 and 17. 15 and 15 is 30 plus 2 is 32. 80 and 34. If you need to, go off to the side. Add 8, 9, 10, 11 is 114 hundredths. Now, I don't have room to do this right now, but I can take out, oh no, you can't actually even see it. If I can take out 100, that's the equivalent of 1, and I'm left with 14 hundredths. You can see that, hopefully. So we have 33 and 14 hundredths. Is it 33? I feel like I did something wrong somewhere. Oh, no. No. Okay. Sorry. All right. Now, decimal form. Yes, it is easier. Yes, I will show you. Yes, I want you to do the fraction way. 15.8. And then we have 17.34. Again, if you don't line up your decimals, you will be wrong every single time. We are adding. Now, 8/10 is the same as 80 hundredths, so we can do that. Hopefully I wrote down the right numbers this time. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. Regroup the 1, put your decimal. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Regroup the 1. There we go. Oh, don't forget to label kilometers. There we go. Now we're on the back. But I told you the first two were easy. Third one's harder. Fourth one's the hardest. Write your answer statement, please. All right. An apple orchard sold 140.5 kilograms, oh my goodness, of apples in the morning and 15.85 kilograms more apples in the afternoon than in the morning. That's key. This is going to be a two-step problem. How many total kilograms, oh my goodness gracious, of apples were sold that day? All right, so in the AM, you had 140.5 kilograms. Then the afternoon, so in the PM, you had, it says 15.85 kilograms more apples in the afternoon than the morning. So we have to take our 140.5 and add to it our 15.85. Once we add up all of those, then we'll know how much. So we need to do 2 of these and 1 of these guys. So 140 plus, I'm going to do a little shortcut here. I know that that's 5/10, but I know that that's in hundredths. So right now I'm just going to write that 5/10 in hundredths. So how many hundredths is it? It is 50 hundredths. So 40 and 50 hundredths plus 140, I know I said 40, sorry, and 50 hundredths plus 15 and 85 hundredths. Yep, it's 3 numbers. Do I have to add all 3? No. I can add these 2 and then that one, or I can add these 2 and then add it to that. I'm going to start by adding my 140 hundredths. Instead of trying to do all 3, I'm going to do in 50 hundredths, sorry. I'm going to put those 2 together. So 140 and 140 is 280. And I love this part. 50 hundredths and 50 hundredths is how many hundredths? 100 hundredths. What is that worth? 1 whole. So I actually have 281. Now I can add 15 and 85 hundredths. So it was actually easier than we expected. So 281 and 15 would be 296. 296 and 85 hundredths. So that wasn't too bad at all. All right, so write your answer statement and I will just show you the decimal form of that, okay? All right, so the decimal form, I'm gonna actually write it up and down this way here. We take 140.5 and we added 140.5. And then we have to add 15.85. Do I start here? No, because I don't have a hundreds. I have a 10. 15, I have 110, 5 ones, 85 hundredths. So now I can go back and say, well, I don't have 100 here. So you can go ahead and put your 0 there, or you can leave it. 5/10 is the same as 50 hundredths. Okay, so now we add 5, 10, 8, regroup the 1, 5, 6, 4, 4, and 1 would be 9. And we've got 296 and 85 hundredths kilogram. Answer statement's already done. All right, the last one. I remember doing this last one with my kids last year, and it was confusing at first. And I remember thinking, what am I doing wrong? Because I did it wrong at first. And then I figured it out. All right, a team of 3 ran a relay race. So we're going to have 3 people here. The final runner's time was the fastest, measuring 29.2 seconds. Now, to be the fastest, you actually want the lowest number. All right, so the fastest runner was 29.2 seconds. I am going to not put the S for seconds because, especially upside down, I'm going to mix it up with a 2 and an S because they're similar. You should, but just because I'm upside down, I'm not going to. So this was the fastest. I probably don't even need to label that, but I like my labels. The middle runner's time was 1.89 seconds slower than the final runner. So here's the key. If they are slower, you're actually adding that time. So if the slowest is 8 seconds, and the next slowest is going to be a higher number because it took them longer. And that was the hard part to figure out, is that you have to take this 29.2 time and add 1.89 seconds. Because they're slower, so it's a greater time. I know, right? It's confusing. The starting runner's time was 9/10 of a second slower than the middle runner's. So that means it was even longer, which means we have to add. So we have these two. We have our 29.2 and then our 1.89, and then we add on 9/10. Holy cow. But this is, I didn't even do my labels. This is, and now we want to know the total time for the team. Now we actually have it set up really nicely. You could do it a couple different ways. You could add all three. You could, I'm going to start with adding these two numbers. And then I know what those two are. So I want to find the total of each of these, and then I want to add them together. Could you make a long line and do this? Yes. Okay, and I will be kind to you right now. If we can set it up properly in our place value chart, then I will let us add them with the decimals. Okay, so let's add these two together. We have 2 point, nope, we don't. We have 29.2 seconds, and then 1.89. Do I put my 1 here? No, that stands for 2/10. I don't have 2/10. I have 1, 1. 1.89. So what can we do over here? We can add a 0 because 2/10 is the same as 20/100. So let's add these. 0 and 9, 8, 9, 10, regroup. Don't, whoops, wrong spot. You forget that decimal, you're done. 9, 10, 11, regroup, 2, 3. So this time, I'm going to grab a different color. Wrong way. This time is 31.09. So that means that is already 31.09. Now we need to add 9/10 of a second to it. So where does 9 go? We don't have any 10s. We don't have any 1s. We have 9/10. We don't have any 100s. So ignore this part now. Actually, I'll just erase it for you. And we can add 9 and 0 is 9. 9, ooh, 99. 1 and 3. So this whole total is 31.99. You probably can't see that. Oh, it's not bad. Okay. All right, so what does that mean? That means now we know the totals of each of the runners. Let's add up all of those totals and we'll see if it's right. Okay, 29.2. And you know what? I know that I'm dealing with numbers that are in the hundredths. So 2/10 is the same as 20/100. And then we have 31. I hope I haven't made a mistake. And 9/100. And then we have, so that was the second one. And then the third one is 31 and 99/100. And these are all in seconds. 9 and 9 is 18. Regroup the 1. 9, 10, 11, 12. Regroup the 1. 9, 10, 11, 12. Regroup the 1. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. 92.28 seconds. And it matches the answer I have in my book. So the team's total for the race was 92.28 seconds. So that's a minute and a half, basically. That's crazy fast, right? You could have added these differently. I know I was supposed to convert them all into fractions, but I thought we have to practice lining that up too. So why not, right? Why not? Feel free to do it all in fraction though. make sure you have the right answer. This would be 92 and 28 hundredths. So you put 28 over 100. So there you go. There's lesson 14. We only have 15 and 16 left of this module. So great job today, guys.